welcome back to Real Insanity TV. I'm your host, Jerry Green. Today we're going to cover setting up shrimp traps in this episode. I'm going to show you how to set this one up. I've gotten all brand new ones for my boat. So set this up, do a little bit of getting ready for shrimp season. So the trap itself, you have to make sure I'm going after spotted shrimp is what I'm pretty much targeting. You want to check with the WDFW rig. There's different dimensions for shrimp, and you have to follow which ones, and it's based on this mesh size. So this is pretty much your standard little SMI shrimp trap. Single bait container. You got the hatch right here. This is going to be your bait container right here. Prawn bait and everything, usually you freeze it or semi-freeze it. It's just going to drop down in there and close up. So you'll have some sort of access hatch on here to allow you to pour it out. So the principles behind the shrimp traps and the crab traps are not too different. It's mostly going to be in the weight of the equipment. You have a buoy on the surface, some kind of a line going down to the trap, and a bridle. In the case of shrimp traps, the depth is a lot deeper, so commonly you're at depths greater than 200 feet to go after shrimp. So consequently, the weight of the trap is a lot more. You also have a lot more line. Crab trap, I typically only run 150 feet of line, maybe 200 at the most. For shrimp, I run 400 foot line, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, but let's get started on assembling this shrimp trap. So what we're going to do is, rather than using lead weight, I pick up these steel barbell weights from Walmart. Coat them a little bit. They're already coated a little bit, but I rubber coat them. So eventually they're going to rust, but at the cost of these things, you're going to get a couple of years worth of use out of them before they totally disappear on you, and probably 3 or 4 years worth actually. And the price of lead is just out through the roof. I weight my shrimp pots down 40 pounds. So we're going to have 4 of these plates down in the bottom here. That's because commonly I'm shrimping out in areas where there's a lot of current, the depth. You absolutely do not want these pots to, when they get to the bottom, you don't want them to move around, because unlike your other like crab traps and stuff, they're difficult for the animal to get out of once they pass through it. They got little trap doors on here. You'll notice that on the shrimp trap, you have these large openings here. There's nothing stopping the shrimp from swimming back out. So the idea is to keep them interested in chewing on that bait and keep them in the trap until you bring it up. If the trap is bouncing around down on the bottom, they're going to flee away from it. So you want to keep it as steady as possible. So for that, I overweight the trap. So I recommend 40 pounds. It gets pretty heavy, but that's what a manual, an automatic pot puller is for. So we're going to slip these in here. work them all the way around over there. Pretty easy to set up. I'm going to grab a couple of zip ties here. Let's get some good ones though. The other nice thing about using these weights is they've got the handles on them. So I'm going to flip this up here so that I can kind of get at that a little better. Hopefully you can see this. And we're just going to zip tie these down so they don't bounce around in here. So, yeah, come on. Helps to put it in the right direction and not upside down. Okay, come on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. There's one on there. Throw a couple. Okay, there's one side of it. Let's see what, I'll flip it around over here so we can see what. So all we're doing is just zip tying it down to the bottom. We don't want the plates moving around. Just keep them in one spot. Zip tie them into the corners. I do the same thing with the crab trap, just I use 5 pound weight instead of 10. I only put 15 pounds of weight into a crab trap, so it's significantly lighter. So with the depths and everything that these are down and the weight on them, I definitely recommend an automatic pot puller, either electric. Okay, now we're just going to cut these off, trim them up a bit, down out of there. All right, first plate is done. Lay this back down, grab another plate. Go ahead and repeat the process. There, so I got the first plate done, and so now the second plate's going to be really easy because I know how to do it. Right. That off. Trim, trim. That one's done. Tip that a bit. All right. Boom, second one's done. Flip this back around. Third plate. In you go. Okay. Yeah, now it's getting heavy. Yeah, let's go through there. All right. Okay, last plate. This is going to be the easiest, right? It's right by the door. Okay. All right. That trimmed up. There's number 4. I don't really like that one. I'm going to put one more in here. Here we go. There we go. All right. There we are. Ugh. Okay, so there it is. The basic setup. So from here, we're going to attach the harness to it. Get the harness out of the container. For shrimp traps, it's just a standard crab trap harness. Four-way. I do recommend the metal rather than the plastic due to the weight that we're dealing with over here. But other than that, you're just gonna clip them through the little clips over here. You can probably go that way though. Let's get this laid out. Just gonna clip them on there. Then boom, we're ready to go. Okay, that is the complete trap. So now, let's talk about crab line. Let's get this stuff, or the shrimp line. Let me get this stuff cleared off of here. Get this off. Set off to the side. Okay. Buoys. Double buoys, I tie mine on a well, it was a 15-foot lead, so it's probably like 8.5, 6, 7, 8 feet now, 7.5. Stainless steel turnbuckles. They do make these little loose ones that you fit and turn in. I don't particularly care for those, but they're a quick connect. They're out there at the cost of all the gear here and stuff like that. I don't tend to like using those, so I just go down to the hardware store and buy these little shackles here. I do recommend that if you do go this route here, you get some Teflon grease and put it on there. Run those down a little bit. That way they don't jam up on you, and you can still take them on and off with your fingers. 2 buoys. Recommend the larger float buoy with the smaller one. Washington state law says that shrimp buoys have to be yellow. You cannot use painted bleach bottles or all of that kind of stuff that we've seen in the past. The red and white buoys for crab, you don't want to be using those during shrimp season, and you don't want to be using shrimp buoys during crab season, because our game wardens get a little irritated with that. So it's pretty much just rigged up like that, and then as I mentioned, buoys have to have your name, your phone number, and address. I've got to add my address on here yet, but they got to be marked with so that they can be tracked back to you. These are just attached on here with some simple eye splices, nothing real fancy in that. Knotted, so this whole thing is supposed to float. On the surface. Oh, here is our shot line. 400 feet. So this is going to be, you can kind of see how I have it coiled. I leave this out and I start coiling in here till I get to this end here. This end sits on top. This end's on the bottom. Regular eye splice in here. I've marked. This is the buoy end, or the trap end. So this is going to be the buoy end. So this is the end here. You're going to take another one of those little shackles, attach it onto your 4-way harness, and tip it over the side. So we'll come out here. There's a 10-foot warning marker, so when you're bringing it up on the hoisting machine, the pot puller, you'll see that, and you'll know that you're getting close to the end of the rope there. That start looking for the trap. 400 feet of it, I keep it in these little totes. They make that seems to hold it out really well. Get this all piled up back in here. So that coils up really well. It's just a standard little storage tote. So as a matter of fact, there's the label. So the only thing that I've done with these different is drilled drain holes over here in the corners. So, when it comes back on board the boat, the water will drain out here like this. So all of these will, you have 4 of them on board the boat. You can run 4 traps. So 4 of these, they make a nice stand. So coming off the coiler, they'll go right in there right nice, and when you fill it up, whatever, you can swap it out. So, all right. Okay, folks, well, that's the basic setup to a crab trap. You just, or a crab trap. Well, we'll try a shrimp trap. So that's the basic setup for a shrimp trap. That season comes up for here in Puget Sound. That season is going to start in late May. They're giving us 4 days so far in between late May and early June. So it's a fun fishery to do. Sometimes it's hard, but it's definitely more challenging than crab. It's deeper water. You have to have a boat in order to do it. You're in 200-300 feet of water, so definitely out there. There is some spots off of in the Puget Sound that you can get that deep. There's people out there that do shrimp with a kayak or something like that, but or off of jet ski. But for the most part, the shrimping, unfortunately, is not something that you can really do from shore like the crab. So that'll do it for this episode. So if you want to try doing some shrimp, this is how you do it. Get out there and have some fun. Spend a day getting shrimp. Have a good one.